we're live.
Really? Okay, hold on. Let me save my
Yeah.
file here.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Right.
And we apologize in advance.
Right. Yeah. Because it's like we were both working on something. We're both working, and we literally, for that split second, we forgot that we were supposed to go live.
Totally. I'm like sitting there, and
Right.
I'm like, so I come back in here to tell you something, and it's like, time to go live, and I'm like,
Right.
oh,
I was like,
shit.
oh no, oh yeah, that's right. We're supposed to go live.
We're doing this thing. Good morning, everyone. It is October 14th, 2024, and it is a motherfucking Monday.
Yeah, I know. Already another Monday.
Yay.
You know what? We just have to accept the fact that even as freelancers, it's like it's like the Monday blahs are real no matter what, you know. That it's like, I don't know. It's like I guess, you know, everybody else has to go by this schedule, so whether we like it or not, we have to go by this schedule. And it's like, Jose has to, Jose has to go to work, so I guess it's Monday.
As freelancers, we are at the mercy of those who pay us.
Right. Well, that's true. Yes, and they work Monday through
Friday.
They
go to work on Monday.
Yeah, exactly. You know, hey, we can't live the life of leisure that we imagine ourselves having, I guess. So Monday. I have to keep remembering it's Monday.
You ready?
Absolutely not, but hit it.
Yeah.
Is that the mood for today?
It is. It's the mood for every day lately.
Right.
Jesus. Yeah. I'm like on this like ending PMS thing.
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah. I mean,
it's always PMS. It's PMS. Not sponsored.
Oh, not sponsored. Right. Gold Bond and Midol. The official products of old people. Oh my goodness. So here we are on a very dreary Monday morning. They say it's not supposed to rain, but it looks hella like it's supposed to rain. I don't know. You know, there's a lot of hurricanic activity going on
everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. So I don't know. So who's joining us in the chat today?
All right, so this morning we got Shane, we got Joseph, and Rob. Good morning.
Content creators work every day. That's true. Although, look, I have to admit though, it's like, yeah, I bitch about Mondays, but we have rain coming this way. Okay, thank you, Rob. Because I always count on Rob to tell me instead of just checking the weather app, the Weather Channel app.
It's gonna rain.
It's gonna rain. Well, that's what the Midol is for. You know, I swear to God. I forgot what I was going to say. Hello. Hello, Kyfern. You know, so yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. What was I going to say? I don't know. I was going to say something, and words, vocabulary, right? So, but thank you everybody for joining us. And yes, I see you, our beautiful eyeball people watching us from regions beyond. If you are joining us from Facebook, if you are joining us from LinkedIn, come on over to YouTube, join the sexy people in the chat, keep them company. And while you're here, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever any of our shows go live. Oh my goodness. So I guess we might as well just get something started today, whatever this is. So hello everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. Oh, I've been so self-publishing comics since 1992, and you know what that means.
Emotional damage.
And I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which returns to Kickstarter next Monday, actually. Monday already, October 28th. No, 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks,
2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I gotta get my glasses fixed. That's what the problem is. 2 weeks from now on October 28th. Okay, so I feel a little bit better now. On October 28th.
Me too, because I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I know, right?
What?
With the first volume of the Tears of the Mother story arc, which collects issues 1 through 4 of this 8-issue limited series. And I am also known for my medieval fantasy drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which returns to Kickstarter early 2025 with issue 9 of this 16-issue series. You can also read both my comics online at eagleworks.com, EGOWORKS, and Tall Tales, TAILS online.com. And you could also read both Tall Tales and Eagle Raven on Webtoon. Eagle Raven just finished its first issue on Webtoon. Tall Tales is about to do that as well. So Eagle Raven updates every Tuesday and Tall Tales updates every Thursday. Also, you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. And to tell you more about it, here's the weather girl, Nita.
Shit, hold up. Okay, so my name is Nita Lanning, and I write.
What do you do?
I have a Google account. Yeah,
Right.
I don't even fucking know. I market shit.
Right.
I market and I promote, and I work for several small press publishing companies. Anyway, but I also run the Google account that operates in the Indie Comics Network on YouTube that you cannot find at indiecomicsnetwork.com right now.
Oh,
so go to YouTube at Indie Comics Net is how you can find us, or my link trees all over.
So
the
it's
place,
not
Google
.com
Indie Comics
anymore.
Network. No, it's not .com.
Oh no, I gotta retire the clip now. Well, you were saying
I'm
you were
working
happy.
on things with DreamHost. I'm waiting for them to contact me. It's something in the coding again.
Right. Oh, you are not having much luck with technical issues, aren't you?
No, it's always the glitches. Always glitches for this bitches.
Right.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So other than that, it's like what else has been going on for you?
Actually, like work.
Just work.
It's been work, and then trying to take care of a whole bunch of shit on a personal level.
Right.
And I mean, like it's just been madness.
Right.
Just
It's
madness.
it's the personal shit that really kind of like, I mean, like the regular stuff that's kind of like a given, but when the personal shit just dumps in, it's like, you too.
Right. Right.
It's like,
then
come
you
on,
gotta
man.
make time to go
Right.
run and go take care of this and
Right.
come back
Yeah.
to this. And then it's like, I have gotten much better at using my phone for social media. Although because the screen is not quite big enough, I'm looking into an ideal tablet for that. And a lot of people suggested the Kindle Fire. But it was
Really?
like, yeah, no, I'm going with, I'm not touching it. I tried. I took one of the kids. I jacked one of my kids' Kindles and wiped it since they weren't using it.
Yeah.
It doesn't do what I need it to do.
The Samsung tablet that I gave you didn't work either. It was too old.
No, it was too old.
Right.
But I'm going to be investing in myself very soon.
Very nice.
I get in a nice tablet that has a keyboard option and everything that I can just throw in my purse and go.
Oh, okay. What'd you get?
Apparently life's going to be hectic for a while. It's
what are you getting?
Remember what I stuck with?
Well, obviously it's not an Apple because you would have said that right off.
No, fuck that. I'm sorry. And I'm not knocking anybody who uses Apple products, but they are not for me.
No,
okay, so it's a Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 11-inch with keyboard. And so,
all right.
Ain't cheap. It's definitely going to be an investment. But
yeah. What is it?
I need something on the go, and I don't feel like packing a laptop.
What are the new ones going for? 12?
Pretty fucking close.
Yeah.
With everything that I need for it, I'm going to be looking at about 15.
Right. Oh, is it going to come with the SIM card and everything so you can go
Yeah, I'm getting it's maxed out. I got the maximum storage on the device itself. I'll have
right, yeah.
external. I have and yeah, that's true, Rob. It is a tax write-off.
Right. Well, yeah, but the thing is though, you still have
The
to spend
keyboard, the
the money first.
case, the screen protection, everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's a tax write-off, but you still have to spend the money first. Like, because I know that
Right.
I've been looking at getting a Surface Pro laptop, and
That was another one I looked at.
yeah, and it's like, so I can actually work on Clip Studio on it. And yeah, and the one that I want, I think in total would be around like $2,500.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, it's a tax write-off, but I don't have the $2,500.
Right.
Yes,
With the holidays, so it may still be a little
Yeah.
bit off because I mean,
Although
I'm
a friend of mine
gotta
said,
get kids Christmas.
yeah, a friend of mine said to always wait until January to buy tech, because it's like usually that's when the old stuff, they're cycling out the old stuff for like the new. Although he said that was specifically for Apple though, so I don't know. So I think always premiere new products at the beginning of the year. I don't know if like everybody else does the same thing. I would think they do because everyone follows Apple's lead,
Right.
So yeah, it's and that's also the mistake too that I always made in the past, that this time I have to make sure that I don't do, because before I used to always buy the cheapest version of what I needed. Right. It's like,
Right.
you're
I've
like,
made
okay, I
that
need a new
mistake.
laptop. Yeah. Okay. I need a new laptop. And I always would buy the lowest, like the lowest end version, because it would be the least expensive. It's like, oh yeah, it's like
Right.
I can pick up a laptop for like $500, right? But
Which
that
is
you'll
what
be
I did when
lucky.
C was in the hospital, and it
But
doesn't do near what I needed to.
no, absolutely not. Not only that, but it becomes obsolete within 6 months because
Right.
nothing runs on it. When everything updates, all of a sudden nothing works on it. I have a laptop here that it's at a point that hey Allison, it's at a point where I can only run Word on it. It's like if I even like if it's like it even looks at Grammarly, it crashes. I can't even run Grammarly on it. It's like it. I can't do, and forget it. I can't run Clip Studio on it. I could barely use Photoshop on it. And it's like, yeah, it's not worth it. Like, you're not really saving anything. Like, now granted, if all you do is use Word, yeah, okay, you just got yourself a word processor, but like I said, even then it can't use I can't use Grammarly with it. So even as a word processor, I can't use it the way I usually run,
And that was the
work on it.
problem with the Kindle. Any add-ons or extensions, or the fact that I would have to jailbreak it just to get Google Play. And I use a lot of paid editing apps from Google. And it's like, nah, fuck all that. Because once you jailbreak it, your warranty's gone.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, nah.
Yeah. So now it's like, because it's the same thing. Like my computer, like I kind of got the middle ground on that. But honestly, ever since I got my new computer, like, how was it, like back in 2021? Even then, as beautiful as this computer is, I actually regretted not going higher end on it. And that's what I'm looking at, the Surface Pro. It's like, because I'm going like as high as I can get it.
That's what I'm doing. I'm maxing it out.
Yeah,
Tower of Babel, baby.
Yeah, it's like without
real.
like going too unwieldy, but it's like, yeah, because it's like I have to future proof, because you have to future proof the investment.
Are you going to be spending $1,500 again in 6 months?
Right, exactly. So it's like, at least, yeah, I'm spending a lot more up front, but it's like what Rob says, like you get that back, you get a part of that back from your taxes. And also, you're not, if you do it right, you're not buying another one for like another 4 or 5 years.
Right.
If you
and
do
that's
it
why
right.
I'm like, fuck it, I'm going out. I'm just gonna do it.
Because it's like, being cheap is expensive.
Right.
You know, I mean, really, it's the same thing with my tablet. For $400, my Cintiq. For $400 more, I could have gotten the 24-inch. But I was like, nah, let me get the 16-inch. Nah. To this day, that's another expense that it's like, if only I wasn't cheap, I could have had the 24-inch. It was either 24 or 27. I think it was the 24. You know,
Right.
I could have just gotten the 24-inch and had a larger space to work on, especially the way I've been like running through this thing. So it's like, yeah. So in the end, it's like, what am I really saving? What did I really save from that $400?
Right.
Right. So that's that's kind of when it comes to these types of things, that you're better off spending the extra money to get a more longevity out of your. Yeah, Allison goes, I always try to get the most top of the line I can. Yeah, because it's always
Always.
about, no, it's always about the inches. It's always about the
Always.
inches. Yes, it's like
Yeah, for me this time,
length and
instead of
width.
trying to go bigger, I'm trying to go smaller, because the laptop, even though it was 15,
Yeah.
it's just like this much too fucking big to just be convenient
Right.
to take.
Well, right, because you have to make it then you have to consider the portability
Right.
of it.
Can you imagine, like, I get to, if I do this, I get to come see you next time with a fucking backpack and a single suitcase. I don't have to worry about fucking the big
Yeah,
suitcase,
you had like,
a
you were like
backpack in my
camping.
purse.
Yeah,
Well, I
you
had
like,
to, because the
yeah,
laptop required the fucking bag to be this
yeah,
goddamn big
yeah,
and shit like that. Next time it's
yeah.
going to be a backpack and a purse,
Right, yeah,
because the fucking tablet will just be like,
right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, because the tablets are nice. You know, I used to have a tablet, but the battery actually exploded on me. It
and the
like it
motherfucker's like this thick.
popped open.
Swear
Yeah,
to God.
yeah. They're but yeah, it's like, so yeah, so when it comes to tech, always go as far. Yeah, inches definitely matter, especially in screens. Um, yeah, but it's like, yeah, depending on what you need it, because portability, yeah, I would rather try to go as, for portability, I can't go larger than like 9 by 12 when it comes to like a laptop, because that's as big as a drawing pad for me. And it's like, as
Right.
long as it's that size, I'm good. But something for my desktop work, especially since the Cintiq 16,
Bigger the better for
yeah,
desktop.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, so
I'm
it's like,
going
yeah,
for
don't be
11.
cheap. Don't be cheap.
11 inches of portability.
Yeah, don't be cheap. Don't be cheap and don't hurt yourself. But don't hurt yourself. You know. So what else here? So yeah, speaking of my Cintiq, right? Because it's like, especially lately, that's why we're always kind of like going on the show awkwardly, because I'm literally working as, you know, as we're about to go live, right? I mean, really,
Yep.
if it wasn't so awkward, I'd probably be working as I'm talking, but it'd be too awkward. It's too
You mean like I
brain,
do?
you know,
And then
it's
you
like,
like talk to me and I'm like, huh?
what? Yeah, it's like, it's
Huh?
too much
What?
for me.
What?
You know, and so I'm on page 11 I have 11, I'm 11 pages in on Eagle Raven issue 9, right? And I swear to God, the toughest thing that I'm encountering, because I'm doing everything in Clip Studio. I'm
Right.
doing all the coloring, and it's just like really, really nice. And man, you know, so I have Eagle Raven on Webtoons, and to see the first issue, and it's like, man, it's like, to really resist the urge to go back and keep tweaking it even more. It's like, it is just like so hard to resist that. It really is. Especially the further I get into the story, the more it's not that the first, like, I it's not like the first, like, I think like the first 5 issues, because those were like the really early drawings that I
Right.
did, and I did touch them up before when I colored them and released them on Kickstarter, right? But ever since after issue 6, you can really start seeing like the difference in my artwork, you know, jump
Right.
from issue to issue, right? And especially with drawing all the way straight through to issue 16 and coming back, at least this way, I can actually fix the panels, the older panels, as I'm working on them. Yeah, done is better than perfect. Yeah, that's what I keep having to remind myself. So
and just go ahead and just push through. And if you want to go back before you do your beautiful big old omnibus,
right.
tap it.
Yeah, because
tap
no,
it
no,
then.
yeah, because it's like, because I was looking into, well, because Jose had found a Chinese printer that we're kind of like just playing around with, and and I was just playing around with their calculator. It's like, oh, what if I did this? What if I did that? Right? And we're talking about printing an omnibus, right? The only strange thing though is that they don't print black and white, so I couldn't price out the omnibus for Tall Tales, which was weird. It's like, why wouldn't you do black and white, or why wouldn't you offer black and white, right? But I mean, their prices for color are crazy. It's like what it would cost me, like $5,000 to do it, mix them, would only cost me like $1,300 at a Chinese printer. And it was just like, holy shit. I mean, kind of like the possibilities are endless here, for an extra $1,000, I can get it in hardcover, and it was just like, wow, it's like it is something to think about, but it's, again, it's like, it's that initial investment that it's like, yeah, it would be less expensive in the long run to do like final versions of books, but I'm not ready to put in that much of an investment on it right now, because I would have to kind of like go through the books and like really get to like, okay, this is the final version, and then commit to it. It's like, okay, it's like, if I'm going to spend $2,000, $3,000 to print these books, I want it to be as perfect as possible. And it's like, and I'm not ready for either of that. I'm not ready for monetary wise, and I'm not ready to go. Like, I don't even know how Richard and Wendy Pini does it. Because it's like, it's like they're reprinting the original ElfQuest again through Dark Horse. And they're putting out new editions of the original quest. And it's like, wow, it's like having to go back 40 years, like worth of material, 40, 50 years worth of material, and like bring it back out again. And it's like, I can barely handle looking at Eager Raven issue 1 again, just putting it on Webtoon. I was like, oh my God, I'm done with this.
I'm over it.
It's like, it's like, and then it's like, and then I had to go through it again for like another online project I'm kind of still working on. Just trying to figure out like there's just different ways of like advertising the book somehow. And and it's like, it's kind of like, so it's like I'm constantly seeing these pages again, and it's like, damn, it's like, what if I did just like, oh, what if I just re-inked it and recolored it, like what if I did that, right? And it's like, no, stop it, keep it moving. It's like, worry about issue 9, don't worry about issue 1. And and that's kind of like, as like as a creator, I'm sure like a lot of people have done that, where it's like, you have some unfortunate souls that they end up creating the perpetual issue 1, right? Where it's like they keep redoing issue 1 over and over again, because every time they hit the end, their art style, or it's like their art technique, makes the jump. The beginning of the book doesn't look as good, and this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, no, move on, keep it moving. I'd rather have 16 individual issues, consecutive issues, than 16 versions of issue 1, because that's what you're just going to get no matter what.
Right.
Revised,
revamped, now in full color.
Right. And that's going, and that's the thing too. Right. And that's the thing. Right. Because that's also a tricky thing too, especially because we see a lot of people do that. Where, the artist is more picky. Hello, Nicholas.
Hello, Nicholas.
So, it's like, so you have people who are like re-releasing their books. Like, look, I've done it. Jose's done it. We've seen a whole bunch of other people do it where they do revamped, restored. They're doing like, oh, it's like remastered, and the thing is, it's like that we kind of have to get used to. It's like, yeah, we're kind of like the only ones who are really noticing. And the ironic thing about it is that there really does come a point where your audience doesn't care anymore.
Right.
Your audience just wants to see the finished story. They don't want to see another version of what you're doing. Like, yeah, maybe if you're done with the story, so just gonna spit some hardcore.
It is the full intention of
That's
this
what we
program.
do. That's what we do here.
Everything is hardcore.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
So there kind of like comes a point where your audience just doesn't care anymore. That it's like, it's like, look, I have 5 different versions of this already. Just finish the fucking story.
Right.
And also the ironic thing about it too is that just as we said that every IP is a different audience, right? Every variation is a different audience too.
Huh.
Because that's because when Richard Pini announced that Dark Horse was going to re-release Fire and Flight again, that's the very first ElfQuest book.
Right.
There were people in the comments actually bitching about it. It's like, oh, no. again, right? And it's like, asshole, if you have it already, you don't need to buy it.
Right. Nobody's twisting your arm.
Right, exactly. Jeez. And Richard had to say, it's like, look, it's like, look, this is how we attract new audiences to ElfQuest. By each new version that we put out is a brand new audience that gets introduced. And it's like, holy shit. It's like, yeah, exactly. Find your favorite artist. First thing, like, look, Arthur Adams, it's like Arthur Adams, I think like Bernie writes in, there was another guy. Oh, Bill Willingham. If you look at his old stuff from his Dungeons and Dragons days, it's very quaint.
You're like, what the fuck, bro? Joe Mad. Yes.
Very quaint. Like, they don't, like, yeah, it's like your style is going to change no matter what,
evolution, baby.
Right. It's like that's,
well, unless you're, we know people who don't evolve, but that's different.
Well, that's
a whole nother topic.
That's a them problem, to tell you the truth.
That's a whole nother topic.
Because I've seen people deliberately hold themselves back for some bizarre reason. And it's like, why?
Because my story will support my art.
Or something, I mean, it's just weird. But yeah, so it's like, but Richard says like, yeah, this is how we attract new people. And it's kind of like weird. It's like, holy shit. It's like, not only does each IP have a different audience, but each variant of the IP has a different audience. You have the people who collect the individual issues, right? And then you have the people who collect trades. That's 2 different audiences.
Right.
If I were to do a manga-sized version of any of the books, that would be...
It happens.
That would be a different audience.
Right.
If I did a novel version, which I'm currently doing, that's a different audience. It's like, and it's kind of like breaks that idea that we kind of get stuck with. That's like, oh, it's like, an audience will collect everything. And it's like, no, they won't. And you have to kind of like, it's kind of like every new thing that you do, that's a different audience. It's like the people who collect your comics are different. The people who collect your trades are different. The people who collect your toys are different. Like we see the people who we see the creators who they make action figures, they make plushes, and that's a different audience.
Amen.
From their book. And it's just like, wow, it's like kind of like, it kind of gets a little overwhelming, to think that it's like with each new product, you're essentially starting from scratch. but my point, before I forget my point, right? So so yeah, so it's like, yeah, so if I were to like, so what I want to do is it's like the ones that complain about all the covers. I'm like, you don't have to buy them all, you twit. No, it's true.
No, it's true.
You don't have to buy any of them. Just buy the main book and call it a day. You don't have to,
or buy your favorite and shut the fuck up.
Right, exactly. It's like, I don't know why. Oh, okay. So that kind of reminds me of also another thing that I read. This actually came up a couple of weeks ago, but I only started seeing, but it's like I kind of like couldn't like fit it into our conversations until yesterday.
We'll cram it in here now.
Right, yeah, we'll just shoehorn it right in, right? So the thing is, though, I couldn't find the original article, right? But I don't think there really was an original article, as much as it's just buzz in Hollywood, and all the Hollywood journalists, using that term loosely, are kind of like coming out of the woodwork with their own critique pieces of the idea, So let me pull up. Okay, so there's this article. Let me see. Hold on. I want to make sure I don't accidentally bump myself out of StreamYard. Okay, so there was this kind of like rumor / announcement in the studios, which is not saying much, because there's like 7 of them left in Hollywood. I mean, like, after Fox, I mean, how many actual major studios are left, right? 4.
Right.
There's Disney, there's Sony. It's like is Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers is kicking.
Right. Yeah. It's like, I think there's one more, and for the life of me, I can't remember. It's like, yeah, but it's not that many left, right? So pretty much it's 4 rich guys talking to each other, right? And they were talking about the idea of using super fan focus groups to use their input to make future movies. Now, focus groups are not a new thing. Studios do that, but so the thing is, though, I don't know how the studios intend on doing this, because I can't find, like I said, I don't think that there was an original announcement, as much as now it's all the journalists criticizing the idea. Where, like, the article that I saw, by using super fan focus groups, movie studios are walking a brand new tightrope. And then they're talking about, the reliance on IPs and brands drastically altered Hollywood's business model. And, and they were talking about, a lot of the articles talk about catering to toxic fan bases. And this was going to be a detriment to movie making, right? But the thing is, though, is that nobody is telling Martin Scorsese to use fan groups to make movies. Like, we're not talking about Quentin Tarantino using fan groups, right? We're talking about like Disney and Sony or whatnot using fan groups to make their gray paste superhero movies. I mean, it's like, look, Peter Jackson used people from the Tolkien estate. They used Tolkien scholars, from fucking Oxford, to make the Lord of the Rings movies that pretty much 99.9% of us say are brilliant.
Right.
Especially the extended versions, but you're still gonna have the assholes.
But you're talking about nerds in text they're gonna be super fans anyway. So yeah, like,
right,
it's like, that
you still have the nerds bitching about Tom Bombadil, right? Nobody gives a fuck about Tom Bombadil. Let it go. But so they're talking about, okay, so for the next, let's say, Marvel movie, they're going to have a super fan focus group, whatever that means. Because I don't know what that means. I can't find any specifics about it, because Jose's question is where they're choosing these focus groups, where they're choosing these people. It's like, who are these people? Are they going to talk to Twitter? Who are they, right? It's like, but the thing, it's but the thing is, though, is that when you're talking about an IP, right? You're not talking about an original. Like I said, nobody's asking Scorsese to do this, right? We're talking about very specific IPs, right? That have these very strong fan bases, right? And it's like, there's a certain expectation that the fan bases have for these products, because in the end, that's what these are. From Marvel Comics, Marvel movies, Star Wars, these are products. You're not making art, okay? You're not making personal stories. We want a mousetrap that kills mice. We don't want a mousetrap that spanks them. Well, it depends on what circles you run in, but but it's like, no, we want to. So don't come to me with a different kind of mousetrap if I'm asking you for a mousetrap that kills mice, right? So don't come to me with a different kind of Star Wars when I want the Star Wars that I grew up with in the 70s. I want a continuation of what Lucas started in the 70s. Right? Because it's like look, I enjoyed The Force Awakens. I really enjoyed the potential that movie had. And then it went completely off the rails.
I enjoyed the potential that movie had.
No, I mean, I did.
I get it.
Fanfic writers had a better idea as to what we wanted from that movie than the actual studio.
So then these super fans might be beneficial to some.
Right, exactly. So it's like, you know what? Maybe I'm not mad at this idea, because it's like, because it's like, look, here's the funny thing, right? Just like they're Tolkien scholars, there's Star Trek scholars, there's Star Wars scholars, there's Marvel Comics scholars. There are people who literally studied the lore, even at academic levels. I mean, it's like, so there are people who already exist. It's like, maybe they can get George Lucas on the line. I don't know. I don't know, something crazy like that, right?
Right.
So that's, so it's like, maybe that's not such a bad thing, because
no, it's not. In fact, not doing that is what's going to cause the Harry Potter series that they're working on to completely fail, because the guy who is going to be producing it and directing it has already said that he has no intention whatsoever in reading the books. And the problem is the movies, like, if you want an expansion of the story, the movies left out a massive subplot for SPEW, which was the Society for Promotion of Elfish Warfare or Welfare. And if you're not going to read the books, you're never even going to know that existed. And if you want it to branch out and to expand on this universe, that's where you needed to hit.
Well, you see, because what it is that they're treating that. It sounds like they're treating that like they're like they're treating Star Wars. That it's like, oh, we're going to make our version. It's kind of like Amazon with Lord of the Rings. We're making our version of Lord of the Rings. We're not making our version Lord of the Rings.
The original context.
Right. It's like, we're not reading the books. We're just reading just enough to get the names and the connections, but nothing, but this is Amazon's version. This is Disney's version. This is Warner Brothers' version. Right. I mean, but also it's part of, regardless of how weird, J.K. Rowling's gotten, this is part of the process of deleting the original creators from their creation.
Right.
It's kind of like how Archie made it a point to delete Dan DeCarlo from the Archie lexicon. It's like these creators do not exist. This is the company product. Amazon, Tolkien doesn't exist. This is Amazon's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
This is Warner Brothers Harry Potter. This is Disney's Star Wars. Right? Because they want to they want to remove the creators, from that. They want to completely disassociate the creators from it, so that in the end they can do whatever they want with the mythos, right? But the problem is that Pepperidge Farms remembers.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
You see, that's the problem. Is that the fan base remembers. The fan base knows what the books are about. The fan base knows what Lucas wanted for the movies. The fan base knows what was originally in the comics.
Right.
Because Jose had watched Hellboy, The Crooked Man, this week. This is what started the conversation, right? I guess fuck today's original topic.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We'll get to that another time.
Look, we'll get to that. And it's like, so he had watched Hellboy, The Crooked Man, right? And he was talking about, and I think he had watched all the original movies up until, I guess, kind of like to get a comparison, because he does that. And he was saying how The Crooked Man was getting a lot of bad reviews, and because of that, it didn't get a theatrical release. Like, pretty much it just got dumped onto streaming, and good luck with you. It's like, no, the studio either doesn't have the money, or it's just like there was like no faith put in a proper theatrical release, even if it was just in one theater for 2 weeks, which is, I think, like the minimum requirement for Oscar nomination. It's like you just need to be in one theater for 2 weeks. Not that this movie is Oscar nominated. It's just that's like the minimum requirement. Like, they couldn't even do that, like back in the day when there was like, you could only watch a movie like at the Angelica Theater or something, like they didn't even do that. And he was talking about that when he looked into the reviews, he saw that the reviews broke up into 2 camps, right? The people who were only familiar with Guillermo del Toro's version of Hellboy, and the people who actually read the comics.
Right.
And all the bad reviews were coming from the camp that only knew Hellboy from Guillermo del Toro's version. But the people who read the comics going, yeah, fuck yeah, this is exactly like the book. And Jose then went and read the story, which was illustrated by Richard Corbin, because then I was like, wait, this artwork, the way they visualize the Crooked Man, it's like that style looks, that design looks familiar. And it's like, is that a Richard Corbin? Right. And I like the fact that I recognized Richard Corbin's artwork in the movie, right? That should already tell you something. And Jose reread the story, and he goes, yeah, they took dialogue and everything directly from it. Mike Mignola actually expanded the story to fit a movie format. Like, he was more directly involved. And he goes, yeah, this is for the people. This movie is literally for the people who read the comic. So it's like there was a more satisfying. Because I never liked the Guillermo Hellboys. Like, there was something like really off about it that I just like, this is not it. And that whole shoehorned love scene, love interest angle, was just like really stupid, because it's like, especially when it came to the second movie, it's like, look, I love Guillermo's design work. I love Guillermo's design work, but it's like, really, it's like, bro has to kind of like, I don't know, stick to what he's good at, and doing like romantic stories is not it. I know
Pan's
that
Labyrinth
was right.
Bring
Yeah,
us
like
more of that.
Pan's Labyrinth. It like that's how he fought. That's his heart, right? He was trying to force a heart that he didn't have in Hellboy. So I never really liked the movies. But this one, just what little that I saw of the Crooked Man, I go, yeah, that's more like the comics. I mean, it's like, so it's like, but you see, but the irony of it is that there's not enough comic book fans to make this a successful movie. Right? And that's kind of like the thing about this whole thing about using a super fan focus group. That would be kind of like the only problem I would have. But you see, the thing is, though, is that Star Wars is, as much as, there's some weirdos who want to say that it's kind of like a niche. It's not niche. Your grandmother saw Star Wars. Your grandmother bitch was in line in 1977 when Star Wars came out. Okay.
Even though she thinks Obi-Wan is Jesus, she saw it.
Right. She saw it. She saw Star Wars. It's like that. These are not niche. Like Batman's not niche. I mean, it's like if your grandmother knows about it, it's not niche. Okay. It's like we're talking about IPs that are part of the zeitgeist. Right. So everybody as a collective has an idea. As a cultural collective, they have the idea of what they want to see already. So in this case, the super fans would only be course correcting, let's just say. It's kind of like, why did regular ass people are upset about Zack Snyder's Superman? Because these people grew up with Christopher Reeve. Right? It's like these people grew up with the Fleischer cartoons. It's like, it's like, Batman was kind of a hard sell in the beginning because everyone grew up, the culture at large grew up with the old Batman cartoons and the old and it's like, the Batman comics, and then it's like the campy TV show, right? And then Tim Burton was able to kind of like bridge the gap between the two, that it became a phenomenon. I mean, it's like, I remember like it's like your grandmother was wearing a Batman shirt. Everybody was fucking wearing a Batman shirt in New York City when that first Michael Keaton movie came out, right? Zeitgeist shit. So it's like, there are things that everyone's expecting. That's why Star Wars failed, because they tried to make it something that the culture did not accept. This is not Star Wars. They were willing to run with what The Force Awakens was starting with. It's like we were willing. I mean, like I said, fanfic writers had it on point, where we're talking about, like Rey being kind of like a gray Jedi. It's like, well, maybe she turns to the dark side, maybe not, teams up with Kylo Ren, maybe she becomes a Sith, It's like we were actually, in spite of the weirdos, we actually were ready to see Boyega's, I forgot, Finn become a Jedi. That he was a stormtrooper who ended up a Jedi, right? We were ready. It's like, look, and we all just loved Oscar Isaac, period. More Oscar Isaac, thank you. I mean, it's like we were ready to accept that. We were ready. It's like, what, and then they came out with the second movie, completely shit on the whole Luke Skywalker mythos, and then it's like, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck you, Kathleen Kennedy. Right, we're out. And that's exactly what happened. Collectively, as a culture, we were out. Star Wars is done. It's like Disney literally destroyed one of the biggest IPs, in what, 3-4 years? It's like, it was the most anticipated. It's like with The Force Awakens, everyone fell for JJ's mystery box. And remember, he never had any answers because the motherfucker never finished the story. He didn't write the three scripts. Jesus Christ. Like, what amateur writer shit is that? Finish your book, then, you could pass it on to people because you have a roadmap already. Or it's like, what? Did you lose Lucas's number? Did everybody lose $4 billion later? Everyone lost Lucas's number. Nobody knew who to talk to.
Who?
So it's like, but collectively the culture noped out. They lucked out on The Mandalorian and Grogu because Pedro Pascal improves everything. But Disney lucked out in that. That wasn't, it's like that was a Hail Mary that they threw, right? Give me CGI Luke Skywalker. They kind of like course corrected, and now they fell apart again.
Right.
So because it's like I don't know what was going on there. Like, it's kind of like they started kind of like fan, you see, because that's the funny thing, right? Because you would think that like they did the whole Mandalorian thing, they did Boba Fett, they did like you would think these were them catering to the fans, but that kind of didn't really click either. Like, something happened there. Well, honestly, I think that what happened, yeah, they basically ignored Lucas's outline. And also the problem is too that I had is that they tried to princessify. Well, they attempted to princessify all of the Star Wars villains. Like, so it's like, oh, well, they're villains, but not really, because they did the same thing with Kylo Ren. I was ready for him to be Space Caligula. I mean, I was like all in on that character, him, Hux. I was like, give me more, and then the second movie comes out and I go, not like that. What the fuck are you doing? And then nobody bothered with the third movie. It's like, oh, they had to redeem Kylo Ren. No, you didn't. We wanted the space asshole. We wanted the space asshole and the sexual tension between him
but
and
no one can be
Rey.
inherently evil. We can't have that.
Right, exactly. But that was the Disney formula for a while, that nobody's really evil. It's like, no, yes, they are. Yes, they are. And that's what we want to see. I don't want to see, it's like, look, Shades of Grey are great. Where it was a clip show. Yeah. It's like Shades of Grey are good in very particular instances, but you still have to do it right. But what they were doing is that they were princessifying the characters. They were literally trying to princessify space Nazis. So that it wouldn't be that awkward to sell merchandise of them in the parks. Oh, they're really not that bad. They're not. No.
Everybody still wants the bad guy. Everybody who collected Masters of the Universe fucking toys had Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain and all the fucking villains. Anybody, the girls collected fucking Kojak. Dude.
Right. Yeah. Idiots. So yeah. So it's like, what? Yeah. It's like, I'm not. So in the end, right, if it takes really obnoxious, minutia SAT taking super fans to course correct, I'm not mad at this idea. Because in the end, the big criticism that these articles that I kept finding kept talking, oh, it's going to ruin the art. It's going to ruin the art. The Avengers is not art. Star Wars is not art. Okay, Spider-Man is not art. They're content. They're IP content. And we want to see exactly what we want to see. I want my spaghetti sauce to taste exactly like spaghetti sauce because it says on the jar it's spaghetti sauce.
Right.
I don't want cinnamon. I don't want pumpkin spice spaghetti sauce.
Pumpkin spice spaghetti.
I don't want, it's like, it's like, I don't know. I want fucking spaghetti sauce.
Right.
And if, so it's like, it's like, I want a fucking chef. And so if you have to go to fucking Italy to find that one chef on the mountain who makes spaghetti sauce, the tradition, it's like, that's what I want. I don't want you talking to some hipster in Brooklyn doing artisanal, spaghetti sauce with seasonal flavors. I don't want that. That's not what we want as a culture. If you're talking about IP, if I want artisanal shit, that's why I watch Scorsese. That's why I watch Tarantino. That's why I watch those guys. That's what I want, artisanal. It's like I will watch Silence over and over and over again. It's like it has both. Has both the Qui-Gon Jinn and Spider-Man in it, and I will watch that shit over and over and over again. And it had Kylo Ren in it too. It's Martin Scorsese's Silence. I will watch that over and over. It's like that. When I want artisanal shit, I know where to go. If I want McDonald's, I want to go anywhere and get McDonald's. That there's a reason why McDonald's, tastes the same no matter where you go. That's Star Wars. That's Marvel. That's Harry Potter, whatever the fuck these mega IPs are, right? They're not niche. These are cultural zeitgeists, right? And the culture wants a very specific thing. So yes, you go to super fans. You go to super fans to say you go to San Diego. If you go to San Diego and they tell you something is wrong, San Diego Comic-Con, you better believe there's something wrong. And I'm not talking about angry weirdos on Twitter. Okay? Because that's what they are. They're angry weirdos on Twitter. And these are people who are not going to support your shit. But if the fans at large, the people who dedicate, it's like, when the guy who cried when he first saw Luke Skywalker, bad CG and all, on The Mandalorian, because Luke Skywalker was his copium. It's like, that's the guy. That's the guy you talk to. That's the guy you talk to. Not some angry weirdo on not some angry weirdo on Twitter.
Right.
Who ain't gonna buy your shit anyway. They're not gonna go see it, it's like, so yeah, it's like, you make Wonder Woman to make Wonder Woman.
Right.
It's like, you don't make Wonder Woman because somebody got their panties in a twist and, oh, why does she have to wear a bathing suit all the time? You're not who we're talking to. You're not who we're talking to. Right. Because I remember when, I think it was like the second Wonder Woman came out. So you had the first Wonder Woman. I barely remember it. I remember the ending being stupid.
Right.
That third act really fell apart. But then it's like the second movie came out, and then there was this controversy. Oh, the difference between a woman directing and a man directing. And it's like, and they showed like all the Amazons in the second movie had all their abs showing. And, it's like, oh, it's like, you're not the audience, because you know what? That shit was hot as fuck. Watching all those Amazons, with those abs, with their tight abs. And it's like, you know what? Trust me, those women were just as happy wearing those costumes as we were watching them, because it's like, holy shit, that's what goddesses look like. This is what goddesses look like, I mean, with glistening abs. I mean, it's like, so it's like, yeah, so who are you going to listen to? Right. It's like, leather and abs jumping around on horseback. Yeah.
Riding horses.
Yeah, we can do this. We can work with this.
Yes.
We can work with this. It's like the people who bitch about Red Sonja's costume. We're not talking about you. We're not talking to you. I mean, it's like, and that's kind of like the thing that studios have to kind of like remember, that it's like, when you get those weirdos popping out of the woodwork, you have to tell them, this is not for you. We're not making this for you. Obviously, this is not for you. Go watch something else.
But they don't. They want to cater to all. And so now we get...
Well, no, you see, but the thing is, though, you're not catering to them when you make those changes, because they were never going to see your movie to begin with. They were never going to buy your book to begin with. It's like I said, it's like, it's the cultural, you have to cater to the cultural zeitgeist, the cultural collective. And those weirdos on Twitter are not the cultural collective.
Right.
We all know what we wanted to see in Star Wars. We all know what we want to see in Wonder Woman. You know, I mean, honestly, I think like this in the second movie, was it the second movie? No, Wonder Woman 84 or whatever the fuck. The stupidest line in the movie that made me nope out of that movie was when Wonder Woman does that whole shit in the mall, saving all the kids, right? Saving all the Girl Scouts or whatever the fuck they were, right? And one of the girls go, "Can I be like you?" And Wonder Woman goes, "You can be anything you want." And I go, "Fuck you. No, you can't. Wonder Woman is a demigoddess.
Right.
You are just a Girl Scout who's just going to grow up to be some basic ass Karen drinking pumpkin spice lattes with your Karen haircut. You know, it's like, no, you cannot be Wonder Woman. You know, and that's also, but that's more of like a peeve of mine where it's like, yeah, I did. I did. That's all it took. That's all it took. Is that like my whole thing with superheroes is that they're supposed to be representatives of our better angels. You know, they're supposed to be representatives of things, of people that we cannot be, but we can at least still try to aspire to. You know, but that's just, like I said, this is more of a pet peeve of mine. It has nothing to do with with my narrative. It's just like it's just that. So the idea that Wonder Woman saying you can be whatever you want is like, no, you can't. Just like not everybody can be a successful comic book creator. You know, we talk about this all the time. People coming in, I want to be a successful comic book creator. Well, no, it's like, look, that's not the reality of the situation. That you have to accept on a certain level if you want to make it through the loops of being a comic book creator. Not everybody gets to be Polito. Not everybody gets to be Dan Mendoza. Not everybody gets to be Orange Forge. Not everybody gets to be Frog Knight.
Right.
You know, it's like, but you can aspire to them. But there's
Right,
the
absolutely.
reality. There's the reality of it that's not going to be you. There's also the reality that that's not going to be you. You know, but I think I just got off of a tangent.
What, you want a show called Star Wars to have wars in space? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
Get
exactly.
out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
Get out of here.
No. We want to have people having existential crises. We want to see gods going to therapy. No, we don't. Nobody asked for that shit. I wanted to see Space Caligula. You know, I mean, when you know, because really, it's like, yeah, no. So it's like, yeah, so super fan focus groups. I don't have a problem with this idea because you know what? I think it's like, I think studios should go back to understanding the fucking IPs that they spent billions on and making them to the specification of the people that made it the super IP that they spent billions on to begin with. You know, unless I don't know, but then you also get to the whole thing where Lucas made the Phantom Menace and all that shit, and it's like well, sometimes even the creator disappoints the audience, but you know, hey. But at the same time, that you know, it's like, you know, his, even, you know, going back to Star Wars, right, and the different audiences, the different formats that attract different audiences, right? So the people, you know, so the first trilogy, right, attracted a different audience. The second trilogy attracted a different audience, but they still love Star Wars, regardless of whether the people who saw the first trilogy thought the second trilogy was stupid. So you still added to that fan base with those next three movies. You see, I think that the Disney Star Wars was probably the only version of Star Wars that didn't reinforce the base. Because nobody really talks about them. I mean, in the end, even Disney doesn't talk about them in those movies, right? So it's the same thing with putting out a different version of ElfQuest, right? It's like these are not for the people who own the Starblaze Dawning versions. That's my those are my grails. It's like that I have the very first Starblaze Dawning, Elf Quest. Those are the books that got me into Elf Quest. Right? I don't buy the other collections. I did buy the first volume of the black and white, the big, those big trades that you have back there. I only bought the first one because that included all the artwork from the Starblaze Dawning, because that's my original trilogy. Right.
Where are my other books?
But there are people who came in at different points of the series. They're right behind you.
No, I have the others. Where the fuck did I put my book? They're like this goddamn big.
Well, that's why you have to redo your office.
I don't want to talk about it.
Right? Yeah, you got to find everything now. Oh, that was a thing too that I wanted to mention. So I finally got a new bookcase for this space right here. So I finally got myself the tall bookcase.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to push this over to the other side as it is. I'm just going to push it over. Right. And then I'm going to put the tall bookcase so I can take all this down, because I swear to God, if I could show you the plastics that these books are in, the plastics are yellow from the direct sunlight. Huh? Yeah. And they're crunchy. It's like, what's even worse is that when I go to pull out the bag that's inside, the bag is disintegrating inside. Yeah, no, for real. But it's like, so I'm going to take all that out. I'm going to put the new bookcase there so that so that's going to help block the light coming from here. So it's less UV coming into the office.
That crossed my mind to bring up to you when I was at your house this last time.
What?
Because that one piece of window behind you right there lets in the majority of the sunlight.
Well, right, because it's never covered. Because at least the windows I have, supposedly they're UV. I don't think so. But I do have like this
and it'll improve your lighting because you won't have lighting coming from behind you.
Contact paper, right? So, but like all the light still comes in through these glass boxes. So, so the bookcase is going to go up all the way, like halfway. You know how I have the max that you gave me up there? So it goes halfway there. So I have to scrape all the shelves off, move that someplace else, like readjust some of the shelves. And then I will have this blocked for the most part. And then I will have probably like the final shelf space I can have in this office. And maybe like clear up some of more of my desk here. I know I have books here that I want to move onto a shelf. I have some books here I want to move onto a shelf that I could finally move here. So that comes in tomorrow. So I'm really excited for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm having an existential crisis, and I'm going to redo everything in my office because I'm just like that.
Well,
so within the next few weeks, y'all are going to see me tearing shit apart. You're going to see the bare brown taped fucking shit walls. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Sometimes change is a little good. Sometimes change is good, even if it's a little bit of change. Because it's like, it kind of like, sometimes we get like too stagnant in a space. And it's like sometimes just changing the furniture around is enough to make your brain think, oh, we're in a new space. And it's like, oh, it's like, and then it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like a mental reset. So I'm really excited for that.
I want everything black and blue like my soul.
Right. No, so I'm getting everything white.
And downtrodden. It needs to match.
No, and glows under UV.
And glows under UV. That's it. Right.
Oh my God. So you're gonna have to change the title. Because it's like, yeah, that was absolutely not, that was kind of like the idea that we were going to talk about. That it's like that's still in the year of our Lord 2024. People are still thinking that friends and like friends and family should make up your
audience,
Kickstarter audience,
backers.
And it's like, no, your backers, and it's like, no, No, that's like that. There's an obligation for artists to support other artists. And it's like, no, go stop being lazy and go find your own audience.
Right. And artists
know?
will support other artists, but it's
Yeah.
like for people to get mad and go on these tangents online about
Right.
other artists not backing them. Dude, if your shit's being shared,
Right.
if you're being encouraged, that is support. They don't need to be your financial source. I mean, fuck, if
Right,
every
yeah.
artist supported every artist, all of us would be homeless under a bridge and couldn't even afford internet
Look,
on our cell
wasn't there a
phones.
joke that we're just trading the same $20 between us?
Right.
You
Right.
know,
It's like,
so
let it go.
yeah, so it's like, it's like, go stop being lazy and go find your actual audience. Go find your audience that actually wants your shit.
Yes.
You know, I mean, and
And
stop
DMing
DMing people about
Don't do that.
Yeah.
That is like the fourth wall of social media. Don't fucking do that.
Right. Yeah. It's like, because it's like, look, yeah, just really quick, I guess just to end, just to have something related to the topic.
Yeah,
It's like, look, you want to know how you gain an audience and keep your audience. Make a book they want.
Ooh.
I mean,
Ouch.
you know what? I mean, really, make a book you want. Make a book that they want. Yes. Is it personal to you? Yes. It's like, sure, because it's like we're doing indie comics. But the thing is, though, it boils down to your book has to appeal to more than your mother and the person you're fucking. To quote John Water.
And there you go.
So
Take
it's
it to HR.
Right. So it's like, you want longevity, you want to be able to attract the audience that you want. You do have to make a book that appeals on a certain level to a wider audience, and the way you do that is creating a story that everybody can kind of like latch on to. And if you're not writing a story like that, you have to accept the limitations of how personal your story is going to be. It's like, I mean, it's like, look, is Eagle Raven a personal story? Yes. But also, I've had people tell me that the story is written in a way that is very appealing to a wider audience, that people are actually able to read it and empathize with the story. And the story, just kind of like it attracts them enough that they need to know what happens in the next issue.
Right.
And it's like, and in the end, it's like, okay, I got you. Because that's the story. It's like, yes, am I writing it for myself? Yes. But but on one hand, though, I have to go with Miyazaki. That's like, I don't think about the audience. It's like, I'm writing a story that I want to tell. And if it has a wider appeal, I'm very lucky that it does. But if it doesn't, that's on me too.
Right.
But am I changing anything? No. I'm not changing a goddamn thing. I'm not writing Star Wars. I'm not writing a Marvel comic, so it's like, having it to appeal to a very particular audience member that knows all the minutia of it. That's not that's not my interest. I'm writing a story that has all my minutia in it. I'm the Quentin Tarantino to Toledo Star Wars, I guess. It's like, I don't know. It's like, you want a more general thing. Yeah, there are books for that. But if you want something a little bit more personal, a little bit, a little bit more I don't know. Then you come to me. I have the book for you. you know um and you have to, and when you're writing your indie comics, when you're doing your indie comics, that's something that you have to keep in mind too. And you cannot sit there and like demand that other artists should support other artists. Like, no, you know who I support? No. I support books that I want to buy.
Right.
I support books that I like. I support books that I buy. And even if I don't buy it, but if I like it, I support it.
Right.
other ways. But it's like, if you're just doing, like your Erstaz X-Men but different, I'm not interested.
Right.
I mean, it's like, it's like you are getting no obligation from me. And and it's like, and if you're going to try to demand an obligation of support, it's like, oh honey, there's no faster way to get me to shut down in front of you. So stop being lazy and go find your audience that actually wants your stuff. They're out there.
Go forth in people.
Yeah, it's like, they're out there. It's like they're buying similar stuff. You're not unique. It's just like, it's like,
of course, except your Kickstarter. You're the
right,
only
right,
exception.
right.
And that goes for everybody listening to us right now. You're the only exception to the rules.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah. Everyone's above average. So yeah, and also the other stupid thing that I heard again in the year of our Lord 2024,
Jeez.
that made me want to break into somebody's house and smother them with a pillow. Manga's just trendy. That manga is just a trend that the young kids,
bro,
and young kids,
heard that
they love to collect manga because it's trendy. It's like, bitch,
trendy
it's
for the
been
past
trendy
30 fucking years.
For 30 fucking years. That's some fucking trend.
God.
I mean, but you know what? Okay, bro. All right. Okay, boss. Okay. Yeah, you go do you. You go do you.
Oh my God. Yes.
Todd McFarlane invented. Yeah, it's like the people who think that Todd McFarlane invented indie comics. Really, there were people that said, "Oh, it's like that Todd McFarlane was the first indie publisher," and I go, I hope you get the life you deserve. I really do. So there you go. So we were able to match up with with the title somehow.
Look, let's get out of here because I'm gonna start saying some bad shit.
I know.
Soon.
Yeah, no, I got shit to do too. I got to take care of some stuff and then get back to work and finish my page, so I can still try to fight the urge to redo issue 1. We don't want to do that. No, resist. Yes, we are not doing that. We are not doing that. Remember, it's the future. Oh my goodness. So any final thoughts, Nita? Any final thoughts for the people?
No, I have to go battle Facebook again. So
yeah, there we go. Of course. So I want to thank everybody who joined us in the chat today and putting in your 2 cents in this economy. And thank you so much to all the beautiful eyeball people who joined us from regions beyond. I hope we were able to entertain you for this hour and something, a little more than an hour. I hope we served as the weird soundtrack that made you laugh inappropriately while you're trying to get work done. So that's it for us on this Jury Monday. If you want to learn more about me and my artwork and everything else, you're going to head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook if you're interested in seeing sketches and current work in progress updates. And remember, you can also check me out at my own channel on YouTube at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, for 600 plus videos, and my semi-weekly art live stream Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to have another one on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, 4 to 6 of just me working and talking with the chat, very freestyle, very being like a convention, and not demure, not mindful. We are not demure. We are not mindful. We are all gremlins at a convention trying not to block the table. But it's like, So yeah, so Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. Remember that you can also read Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, for free, uploading every day, Monday through Friday. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link over to Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com. And not only can you read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free, but you can catch up on the latest story arc, Tears of the Mother, which is also currently uploading Monday through Friday. Also, remember that Tears of the Mother is going to be on Kickstarter in its first trade paperback volume, collecting issues 1 through 4 of this 8-issue limited series. It goes live on October 28th. Link is in the chat and in the show notes as well. And also remember that both Eagle Raven and Tall Tales is on Webtoon. You could read it there for free as well. Eagle Raven updates every Tuesday. Tall Tales updates every Thursday. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And in the words of the ancients, eat your food, moisturize, mind your business, and do the work. Because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake any of your accomplishments. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.